Welcome. This is the Drupal usability meeting for January 15th, 2021, our second meeting of 2021. I'm Benji Fisher. Also on the meeting are Lauri Escola, who has an issue he'd like to present, Aaron Mikhail, Christina Chunias, and Gabor Hatzi. So Larry, please tell us what you want to talk about.
Yeah, so there's this issue. So it's 3136107 with a title, wrapper gets removed while adding HTML text field or text area using replacement patterns. So this is a Views UI problem, or it's reported as a Views UI problem, at least at the moment, because it impacts views. And the problem that they are having is that there's a text field. So you can essentially add custom text into your views, for example, to the header. It says unfiltered text, and then the description says add unrestricted custom text or markup. This is similar to the custom text field. However, it's not necessarily fully unfiltered, because there are some restrictions, because we are removing, we are running it through like an XSS filter, which just removes some elements from the value. And therefore, they are proposing to make some changes to the help text or the description on that list, as well as adding some additional text to the form. So let me actually apply this now. So that was the before state. Now we should be able to see the after state. Now, the title is unfiltered text, but the help text is provide custom text or link. And once you go in here, you can see you may enter data from this view as per the available global token replacements above. You may include the following allowed HTML tags. And then it prints list of all of the HTML tags that you're allowed to use here. So that is the change that they are proposing to make. So something that I noticed or found kind of confusing was that it says unfiltered text still here, and it just says provide custom text or link. And so we have the text area here, which has provide markup text for the area. So it's a bit confusing. What is the difference now, given that now this says is provide custom text or link? It says unfiltered text. Like markup is not mentioned here, and it makes it less apparent what is the difference between them. So that's at least some one change which I found potentially disruptive, or not necessarily an improvement to the UX. But I think we do need to make some changes to the text because it's not fully unfiltered. So unfiltered might be giving too high hopes for someone. So yeah, I think that should give an overview of what is being proposed here as a result of this issue. Any thoughts on? Should we start this by discussing first the this list, and then maybe after that we can go into the form itself?
So remind me, the term unfiltered text, was that changed? Or
it was not changed. Okay. So that's unchanged from what it was previously. So I can zoom the patch a little bit. So we can see that the unfiltered text is unchanged. And here we can see what it was before. So before that description was at unrestricted custom text or markup. This is similar to the custom text field. So in a way, I like this better because it explained what is the difference between the custom text, although I don't think we have custom text here. It seems like it's called text area. So that's a bit confusing. But it explains that this is unrestricted.
So I think there's a disconnect between unfiltered, which is exaggerating a little bit that it is actually filtered. It's just filtered as little as possible.
Yep.
And on the other hand, provide custom text or link, which seems way too limited.
Yeah.
And I think probably the answer is to update the help text for both this and for text area, rather than leave one alone and change the other.
Yep.
And other opinions?
Yeah, I think there are two sides of this same coin. So the back reference was interesting before because it contrasted on like what's the difference. Yeah.
What filtering is done on a regular text area?
Whatever filter format you choose, I guess.
Yeah, so it's using the
input format or whatever it's called. Text format, yes. So it's the text format. And the other does not use a text format.
Yeah, that's
the difference, basically.
Yeah. So maybe that's something that should be explained there.
And can someone with permission to edit the view use any text format available on the site?
Use a text format available to them. I believe that should be the case usually.
Yeah. If it didn't work that way, that would be, I guess, a separate problem.
That would be a big security problem, yeah. Like if you would only have access to, I mean, it's sort of, if you can edit views, then you can probably do other damage.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I think views is listed as one of the permissions which you should only give to trusted users.
Yeah, I don't think it would be a security problem to give someone with permission to edit views also permission to use any text format. And we don't have to research exactly how it's implemented on this call. But I think text areas should be updated to say that you can use any text format if that's accurate. And unfiltered text, I think custom text or link is way too restrictive for what it actually allows. And you might just repeat the same first part, provide markup text for the area, and then in the second sentence, say that only the most dangerous markup is removed, something like that. Maybe dangerous is a poor choice of word.
I'm kind of just trying to. I'm kind of thinking like, why? This okay. This is a bigger issue. I don't want to like rescope here, but why does the unfiltered one exist in the first place? Because like surely if you have one where you can select the text format, then surely you could select like full HTML or whichever text format lets you put in whatever. Like I'm just kind of confused as to why there's even a separate unfiltered text versus text area. Again, this is more just an observation, not really something that's specific to this particular patch.
I mean, one thing that you could be sure is that the site has this functionality, and that the site has the full HTML input format is not something that you can be sure when you
you know what, that's a good point from like a portability perspective. Yeah, I see what you mean. Thanks.
I don't know if that's the reason, but that could be a reason.
Yeah, that's definitely a good reason for using it then.
So how about this for the text area? Have one sentence: provide markup text for the area with any available text format.
Yeah. That.
This is a screen that's only visible to site builders typically, so I think using a technical term like text format is quite reasonable.
I can actually do the change here so we can see using any available text.
We don't see what you're typing, but I trust we'll see it in a moment.
Oh, I see. That's right, because I shared a specific screen. I mean, specific window. I can.
You can
Okay.
Yeah. Markup text or just markup?
Yeah. What was it before? Markup text. Yeah, I guess it could be a markup. So do we want to call it still that it's a text area, or should it be something else?
I would say leave the names unchanged and just change the descriptions. Jennifer Hodgson isn't on the call today, but if she were, she would remind us that, and anytime we make text changes, it makes work for the people making the user guide because they have to update all of their screenshots.
Yep. How about the unfiltered text? That seems just incorrect because it is not unfiltered. Well, yeah, maybe minimal filtering can be considered as unfiltered.
Yeah, it's not 100% accurate, but it's as close as you can get to unfiltered text. And I'd rather not change it unless there's a really strong reason to.
So is it correct to say provide markup for the area with minimal filtering? Is that what it is, or? So if we say provide markup for the area using any available text format, that seems like it would be consistent with that.
That looks reasonable to me.
Does anyone else have thoughts on these text choices?
By the way, I see that 2 more people have joined the meeting. Darius Zavertas, hello, and Emily Nouveau. Thanks for joining us.
For me, the changes make sense. It's just that as not a native English speaker, I'm not so sure about everything, but I would say it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Emily or Darius, do you have any thoughts on this, or would you like? I'm not sure at which point did you join. I didn't see exactly. Would you like me to show the before state as well?
I saw the before state. I think it makes sense.
Okay. Should we then move on to the form itself and to see the changes that are proposed there? So the text that they proposed here, so this is a new text. This is not, it's not replacing anything pre-existing. You may enter data from this view as per the available global token replacements above. You may include the following allowed HTML tags.
And I assume that's not hard-coded, but that's coming from whatever list is included in the XSS filter.
Yeah, they are using the XSS get admin tag list.
Right.
Which I haven't checked yet if it's the correct list, but I assume that it is. Because that depends on what XSS filter. I think we have a couple of them. But presumably it would be the right one.
What do you get when you view the full HTML text format, just for comparison? Because the full HTML text format does something quite similar.
It doesn't give a list of
Yeah, I'm wondering, does full HTML wouldn't do any sanitization, is that right?
I think we do run the same XSS filtering on that.
Oh,
well, it's configurable. So the question is, what do you get by default in the standard profile?
Yeah, but I'm wondering if we actually have hard-coded something for it.
I think all text formats include the XSS filtering. I don't think it's possible to configure something that skips that.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. So it would have the same rules still applied to it. So yeah, certainly that is not enabled.
See, my thinking is like, if you select full HTML and or basically any text format where it's not filtering, it's not like you're not turned on the filter that filters out HTML tags, it doesn't like explicitly produce a list of tags. Now that may, I don't want to comment on whether that's a good thing or not, but I guess what I'm thinking is like, it's not that's the sort of existing pattern. So do we actually stick to that pattern of not being explicit about which tags don't get filtered out, or do we want to be explicit? Because it kind of feels like a new pattern almost.
So there is a separate XSS filtering class for the editors, it seems like. It is extending the XSS, which is being used there, which has the admin tags.
My guess would be that something, yeah, that's something specific to the editor module though. So that might be like, if you're using probably to deal with the like CK editor and stuff, make it work properly.
So I think for the purposes of this meeting, we don't have to figure out whether it's accurate. That'll be the job of the people working on the issue. Our question is, does it improve or worsen the user experience to have this long message listing all of the tags that are available?
Yeah, I guess the reason why we went into that rabbit hole was just wondering what is the difference between using full HTML and using this. And it seems they are pretty similar, but it's not exactly the same necessarily, because it seems like there are some changes that are being made in the editor module, just when I was looking at that quickly. Like, for example, it seems like iframe is not in this list. Yeah, but iframe is something that seems like could be allowed in the
yeah, I think you can get away with iframe in
yeah.
the full HTML. Yeah.
If we lived in a perfect world, I would say the best way to solve this is just add a tooltip, and in the tooltip you can see what are the tags, and you can hover that, and you don't need to have so much information in there. But obviously that's not that simple here. So I do think it's a lot of information, but I also think this is needed, and otherwise you don't have any way to know that unless you know where to go and search for this information. So
could it be on a help page, and could we have a link here to the help page?
that could be a good idea, actually. Yeah, unless you don't have the help enabled.
I would rather have the information here than have to follow a link to see it. And let me point out a sort of similar situation. I'm sure we've all been annoyed by sites where we create an account and we enter a password and we hit enter, and then it pops up and says, oh no, you're not allowed to use an ampersand in your password. And my frustration, at least, is always, well, why didn't you tell me beforehand what characters were allowed, or that I can't use a password more than 12 characters? So I like to have the information about what's allowed visible before I hit enter.
I see what you're saying, but I'm not sure that the comparison is fair, because you're talking about a password where you kind of might have like 3-4 points, like 3-4 phrases describing that. Here is a huge list of tags, and it's way longer probably. And so I don't understand what you're meaning. It's just that this is adding a lot of I don't know. I don't remember how it's called, but you're giving a lot of visual information or visual noise to the person that is working. But obviously this is for a site builder. You're not, that's not a login that your goal is to attract users and get them to click the button. Here, it's a working space where you might need this information. So if the option was not showing or showing, with only these two options, I would say show that. On a visual perspective, I would say let's hide it, although make it available. If we can't hide it, something that I don't think we have right now, we don't have this option in our UI, I would say let's just show it. I like what Laurie said about the link, but still, yeah, it's a little bit far away having to click a link maybe. And obviously if you don't have the help enabled, I don't know. But yeah, if the question is just about having or not having, I would say have it.
Yeah, I'm sort of leaning in that direction myself. I guess the only other thing I would think about is the only pattern that would make sense if we wanted to use one to hide that information would be to use like one of those accordion collapsible panels that we're seeing 2 of them on that form right now. I don't know if adding a third one just to put this information behind it is a good idea or not, but I guess that would be the only thing I could think that we could easily put here.
Yeah, I was thinking of that too, and that's the decision of the admin theme. That's not something that that we should do here.
Is that it wouldn't that be something that would just be like a render element that would go in here though? Is that a theme thing?
Well, it's something that could be done by the theme. And I would say it's something that should be done by the theme rather than by the module that's providing the description or the help text.
Actually, I think it's for me it's probably okay having it below the field.
I don't think it
'Cause
gets in
it's-
the way very much. You know,
yeah.
you have this big text area where you're going to be typing or pasting. And if you are wondering, gee, can I put an iframe in here? If you need the information, then it's there for inspection.
Yeah, even with a smaller screen, which I have enabled now on the developer mode, it does seem kind of reasonable. Maybe on a mobile, that's where you can get a bit. Seems something else is broken already.
If someone is going to edit views as a normal thing in views, I mean, I will just make them like an award just for them.
I'll take that challenge.
Okay.
I'll build a site. I'll build some views on a mobile phone. Sure, why not? Sounds like a fun way to spend a Friday afternoon.
It's the table, which is broken. Okay.
There is an issue for that.
Yeah.
I regret my previous statement now.
Yeah, there's something going on with this dialogue as well, which prevents it from working on mobile. But
yeah, it takes a lot of space, but still it seems usable.
and you only have the administrative title and the buttons below it. That's That's
It's changing depending on the.
yeah. So I don't know. I don't think it
Wow.
has anything to do with this.
Well, can you use your browser tools to hide the help text and see whether that affects it?
Yeah, I can. Think I've seen this problem before.
Okay.
But, yep.
Those states are mixed.
Okay, so that's an existing problem. Are we done with this issue?
Yeah, I think so. So I will post a new patch on the issue with the new texts for these descriptions. Anyone else have any final thoughts on this one?
No.
If I done some things, I would like decrease visual hierarchy of it by like decreasing saturation, and it will look not so saturated and like
Darius, are you talking to the meeting?
yes.
So I'm sorry, what's your point about visual saturation?
Like for those fields, like for explanations for the what is included in that field, like I would make it gray to declutter it, but like it's just visual thing.
So are you talking about the screen we're looking at now?
No.
The help text when
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Not this one. So if I go here, oops, this one, this one.
Yes. If I'd made it gray, it would not stand out so much.
Yeah, we tried that, but it was from the accessibility team said this color wasn't strong enough on an
Oh, it's
accessibility
the size
point
is
of view.
too like. Yes, I understand.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you need to
initially all
use
the
pretty high contrast.
descriptions. Yeah.
Yeah.
so it's already in
So
small
as
font.
yeah, as a designer, I totally agree, but yeah.
Okay, so we're about halfway through the time for the meeting. There was one other issue suggested, but the person who suggested it is not on the meeting. So if anyone else has an issue they'd like to bring up, speak up.
Not for me.
So let me then share my screen and we can at least have a quick look at the other meeting, at the other issue rather. So do you see my screen?
Yes.
Show all selected
Yep.
modules on install confirmation form. So for the sake of the recording, this is issue 3190826. The confirmation form, admin modules list confirm of module installation, displays only the first module that is requiring another module to be installed. It can be reproduced when several modules require the same module. For example, RESTful web services and JSON API require serialization. So let me see if I can reproduce this. So RESTful web services and JSON API. This is the Umami profile rather than standard But let's see, field types. Web services, JSON API and RESTful web services. Click install. Okay, and here's the help text. You must enable the serialization module in order to install JSON API. And the point is that you also need to enable serialization to install RESTful web services. And the question, I guess, is whether we should mention both JSON API and RESTful web services here.
Personally, yes. End of statement.
Okay, so you think at least the issue is correct, that it should list all of them.
Yeah, I think this is one of those cases where it's better to be explicit about what's happening.
So then I guess we have before and after screenshots. We might try making a list in one bullet item, or we could have separate bullet items, which seems to be the current solution.
I'd try and have it as like not have it separate if it's the same module, because that kind of gives the impression that there's two modules called serialization, but or it could at least lead to that conclusion. I would try and not do it. Like in that case, I'd have like module to install JSON API and RESTful web services or something like that.
Yeah, I agree. 2 different lines is confusing.
Okay, and of course, in a more complicated situation where you're enabling a lot of modules, I guess the proposed resolution would have one line for each combination of required and requiring module. And I guess we're suggesting to have one line per additional module that will be installed because it's required. And then on that line, list all of the selected modules that require it.
Yes.
Okay, and any other opinions, any agreements or disagreements?
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay. I guess I can leave a comment on the issue with that opinion. Any other comments on this issue? And again, any other issues that people would like to talk about for usability?
No.
If not, then I guess we can end this meeting early. Thank you again all for coming. I think for the recording, I've mentioned everyone who joined, but maybe just I can mention it again at the end. I'm Benji Fisher, and also on the meeting are Aaron McHale, Christina Chumias, Daryl Zibertas, Emily Nouveau, Gabor Hutzi, and Larry Escola. Thank you, and hope to see many of you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, bye.
Bye.